Over the first part of the season, the Mavericks are unsurprisingly performing below expectations. Yes, they've had a lot of injuries, but one particular thing that has stood out is how teammates have been frustrated by the way D'Angelo Russell plays, and it feeds into the larger chemistry issues the Mavs have been dealing with. Here's the two most obvious examples. With the game tied at 114, Russell uses multiple pick and rolls to get the switch he wants, Harden then late doubles, so there's going to be at least one guy that's open on this side of the floor. But instead of passing, Russell tries to fight through the double team and throws up a wild shot at the rim, and the Mavs can't score to win the game. Now, if we watch this again, look at Najee Marshall and Max Christie. They're both waving their arms to try and get D'Lo's attention, and they're frustrated because they both had a potential open shot to win the game. And after that, Kyrie and AD consulted D'Lo to just figure out what he was doing. Here's another one. Russell's getting pressured all the way up the court, so he's trying to get rid of his defender. And as the play progresses, you're going to notice how long it takes him to just execute a pick and roll, and that's just to get Anthony Edwards on him, which makes absolutely no sense. Najee Marshall was just watching that and couldn't believe what he was seeing before realizing that he's next in line to screen. After 20 seconds of dribbling, Russell then gives him a grenade, and that doesn't go in. So next possession, after a score, Najee Marshall says, "I'm going to take the ball up myself," and instead of trying to run a play, he just decides to attack the basket and draws a foul. Now, the thing is that this has followed Russell throughout his career. Most probably remember JJ Redick infamously crashing out after he took multiple terrible shots last year against the Grizzlies. And the issue is that he has an irrational confidence, especially with his shooting, one that hasn't been tempered throughout his career. Naturally, he'll get more attention when he's in LA, but the reason this has been felt so greatly in Dallas is because of the Mavs' lack of playmaking. When Nico Harrison traded Luka last year, the Mavs were in desperate need of some guards that could run the offense. And while D'Lo is a microwave scorer, he's not a natural passer, and you'll see all the opportunities that his teammates miss out on. For example, the Mavs have a 3-on-2, and with Flag ahead of the play, this should be a straightforward pass, but he waits a dribble and more too long to make the pass, which then gets deflected. This one's in the half court, Russell and Clay run pick and roll, and that slip screen gets Clay open. But D'Lo's head is down, and thus takes an extra dribble, which gives time for the Clippers to recover. That pass is also way too high, so Clay now has to pivot into an ISO, and the Mavs are lucky that Flag bails them out at the last second. This one might be the worst though. The play here is for Najee Marshall and Flag to both set screens for Russell, but because Batum is overplaying him, Flag then goes to the basket. Russell doesn't want to throw that pass, so he just uses Marshall's screen instead, and that bounce pass is thrown way too far ahead. This is exactly where the problem lies. Russell's teammates are looking to him to basically create for others, but that's just not Russell's game. And what then happens is that no one knows what that other guy is thinking. This might be the most prime example. The Mavs have a 5-on-3 opportunity, and as Russell gets the ball, Caleb Martin is then calling for a lob, but D'Lo just stops at the 3-point line, which nullifies any of these potential rim running options. He then looks off Klay Thompson and pulls an open 3, but that's not the shot you're hoping for. So knowing that, Martin then tries to help Russell look for his own shot. He comes up to set a screen because he has Brook Lopez on him. Now Lopez blitzes, so Martin smartly flips his screen to help Russell to get all this space to score. But Russell wants to get his teammates involved, so he thinks Martin's going to roll into that space, which leads to a turnover. So the issue here is that Russell has a score-first mentality when the team is really looking for a pass-first player. And because of that, the Mavs have preferred to start Brandon Williams, who was playing in the G League for a large part of last season. In fact, their offensive rating has actually been 2 points higher when he's on the floor instead of D'Lo. And the reason is that he's a slash-first, pass-first guard. So he is much better at attacking the defense and creating enough space for his teammates to then find better shots around the basket. This one's the best example. Williams runs pick and roll, and with zoo and drop coverage, this would be a shot that Russell would probably just take. But Williams does a little hezzy and drives, which then opens up this lob to Gafford. So while Williams isn't as skilled as Russell, his teammates know what he's looking for, which makes the offense run smoother. And that's why the Mavs have found more success playing with Brandon Williams than with D'Angelo Russell. So, Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If so, please feel free to like and subscribe. You can follow me on these platforms. Hope you guys have a great Thanksgiving, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.